Hello everybody and welcome back to Vintage Thursday. So it's been a while, but we are back and hopefully we've got a busy autumn winter upcoming. Anyway, today we bring you our newest arrival to the collection, and what we have here is a Massey Ferguson 35 loader. Okay, so I've not particularly been looking out for one of these, but if one came along I wouldn't have minded. We've got the 40 on the 165, and it's never appeared on Vintage Thursday, but we do have a 735 loader actually on a T20, which is quite unusual. Normally they go on a 35 or a 135, but to have the it's all different brackets to fit it on a T20, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, this is a 35. It came out, I believe, with the 100 series. So how did I come to acquire another new toy? Well, there's a bit of a story to this. We all went to the Wessex Machinery Sale, as we often do, end of October, and just walking up and down the roads as you do, you stumble across. I kind of came across this loader and I thought, oh, there's a nice little 35 loader, and it has a grill guard with it, which is quite often they're missing. I thought, oh, that's nice and complete. And then I just looked down at the front here. I saw it had this hydraulic ram, and I thought, oh, that's been converted. It's got the trip mechanism is missing. I don't really want that, so I just walked on by. Only thing I looked at it long enough to do was take a picture, take a photograph, which has appeared on Instagram for those who look at Instagram. Anyway, that was it. Walked on by, carried on my day. It wasn't until I got home I went back looking through the photographs again, and something about this loader caught my eye. And it was the ram, the hydraulic ram, that made me dismiss it in the first place. I suddenly looked at it and I thought, that doesn't look like a farm made adaptation. It looks like a proper conversion to a power loader. And there was three things that I looked at there was three things in that photograph that caught my eye, made me think I'd made a mistake by not buying it. Okay, the first one was, this is just a single acting ram. Normally, and pretty much every other conversion or homemade conversion of a power loader, you get a double acting ram to pull your bucket forwards and backwards. This is just a single acting ram. If you notice, the oil goes in to the far end. Second thing I noticed, it was all bolted on. Okay, so this frame here, base of the ram, is bolted on, it's not welded. Again, that caught my eye. And the third thing that I saw from the photograph was this steel pipe running up the boom. Yeah, so add all those three things together, that made me think this is a genuine Massey Ferguson power loader conversion. Now at the time I didn't even know it was an option on these 35 loaders. I know it was an option on the 40 that replaced this, because I've got one. The loader on the 165 is a power loader conversion. And then I got to thinking, the more I thought about it, the more I was convinced that this was a genuine optional extra. And yes, and I kind of got to thinking, I regretted, firstly, not looking at it properly, and secondly, not buying it, because you don't see this very often. Anyway, so that was that. So I sent that photograph off to a couple of friends who know this kind of thing and have might be able to convince me otherwise, that I was right or I was wrong. Was it genuine? And it come back, it probably is genuine. And Andy did some research for me in his archives, and he actually found some price lists listing this. He couldn't find a photograph, but he could find a price list that said that it was available. It potentially was a real thing. Anyway, so that was that. I had officially mucked up by not buying it. Time goes on, a week later, and I see an advert for a 35 loader not far from home with a photograph, and I instantly recognised this is the loader that was in the sale. So I got hold of the man, we had a deal, and he delivered it yesterday. So that is the story of how it's here. It is, as far as I can tell, everything is here. It comes with a bucket, although I don't think this is the proper bucket for it. Okay, it fits well. It's got the it's not a converted trip bucket, but all the photos and all the photos that I've seen lead me to believe or convince me that this bucket is wrong. The real bucket for a 35 loader is a bit bigger, has a bit more capacity to it, and that's quite a shallow bucket. The other ones, the real ones, are a little bit deeper. Anyway, yeah, so when this came yesterday, Dad said, oh, I've got a book for one of those. So he went and got an instruction book, because there was one of these, a trip version of this loader on this farm back in, I think he said 1970 it came. Anyway, Dad's going to come in a minute and tell us about the loader he had and his experience of driving it, because obviously I don't have none of that. So that'll be coming up in a minute. Right, so we're now here together. So like I said earlier on, Dad had one of these here. What was it? 69, 70-ish?
I think it was probably about 70, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know exactly.
What was it on? What did you have it on?
It was put on a 135 because we bought the 135 in late 68, and we transferred the 735 loader, which was one under the back axle,
one, yeah,
onto it. Then we bought a second-hand cab to go on the 135. Of course, you couldn't open the doors, so you had to climb in the back. And then one day I'd been away feeding the cattle and come back, or seeing the cattle or whatever, and they were here putting a new loader on. I don't know what possessed my father to spend all that money buying new one just so I could open the doors. I don't really know, but I'm glad he did. Yeah. And it was a very good loader, nothing quite well built. I mean, we kept them for some years, and when we bought the 165, we took the loader off of the...
So the 135 went...
Yeah, he went for the 165, yeah. And then we put the I put the loader onto a 35X.
That was already here anyway.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that last one, what went? Well, you remember?
No,
sure?
I can't remember that.
Oh, can you?
No.
I thought you could. Perhaps a long time ago.
That was a long time ago, yeah.
And then he went some time later. I mean, it was starting to wear then. The pins were wearing, and we needed a power loader at that point. It wouldn't like this because it was only a trip loader. It's all right, nothing wrong with it.
What did you have? Just a fork or the bucket, or what?
We had both.
You had both on there.
We had the fork. I can't remember where the bucket come from, but he possibly come from next door.
Oh.
The bucket. The fork come with, and obviously, and well, identical to this.
Well, yeah, they were all the same.
Oh, bar the hydraulic rams in them.
Yeah, and we've already said the guard slash, I haven't said that yet, but that guard also acts as a stand to take it off.
Yeah.
That was an optional extra that you had as well.
That was £7, I think.
Yeah, that come extra on top of the...
And I even got the instruction
and here's the booklet from 1970, 69, whatever it was.
Still in the same package.
Yeah, and we've been reading that already today to tell us all about, this. So there we go. There was one of these here. This is about the only thing I've bought that you've already had, isn't it?
Well, 165.
Well, apart from tractors, this is about because you didn't have a lot of Massey machinery.
Not really, no.
No, this is about the only thing I've ever bought back. Not, this isn't the one, but it's the same as what you had back in the old days.
Well, no, it's not, because we never had
apart from that bit, yeah. That's the only reason I bought it, because of the power loader bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right, long-term plan for this. Eventually, it will go on the 35X, because that has had a loader on before, because it's got the headlights on top of the bonnet. Which you can't have headlights on the side for a loader. So eventually it will go on there. I think once it's cleaned up and washed off, it will be a somewhere handy, reasonable match paint wise for the 35X. But we're some way away from getting that ready, because it's got to have a new engine rebuild and all that. So what I'm going to do, well, not yet, but at some point this will be going on to the normal 35, to just a standard 3-cylinder 35, probably in the spring, because I'm kind of keen to play with it and have a go. And get this working before the 35X is finished. So that is the not immediate plan, but springtime plan. Get this out. Maybe I would like to find a fork for it. So if anybody knows of a dung fork that will fit on the front, because then we can do a bit of loading some dung, because we ain't short of that.
We got plenty of that.
We got plenty of that. So it won't load our spreader though. It won't lift high enough. But we can play around and do something.
Well, you've got your own dung spreader.
They don't know that.
Oh, shit.
You might get to see a dung spreader as well. There we are. Yeah, so that's kind of what, I do have an old spreader. It's a 19 power driven spreader. And I keep thinking, let's make a video of it. But I don't want to load it with a Kubota, because it kind of don't match. But if I've got one of these, we could have a nice video. But yeah, subscribe because that's all in the future. Anyway, right, so yeah, this is going to disappear for a few months. We do have a few bits and pieces to do to it. There's a few bolts missing, there's a few pins missing, so we can get bolts and make pins and whatnot, get it all operational. The one thing I haven't mentioned yet, because of a power load, because it is a power loader, we get this valve that diverts. Come and wiggle the handle. Okay, so you can see the handle there, one up.
Oh.
And it's a little bit bent, so what it is, I think that's bucket and down is boom, one or the other. I'm not sure which way. It's in the book, we'll have to read it. But this is what diverts your oil flow between your lift rams and your tilt ram. Whether that, we need to go through this, make sure it doesn't leak, and it's a little bit twisted, so just straighten things up. But everything is here.
Well, according to the book.
Yeah, this is different to the book.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Find the picture.
Find the page, because that's quite an early book. If you had one.
Oh, there's the stand.
There's the. Let me see it. There's the stand upside down, being.
That was quite a good.
To
simple.
take it. I suppose you'd have to be on something fairly firm, otherwise it would just disappear when it's in the field there.
Pretty heavy anyway, weren't it?
And so when you take it off, the booms come away, but the frame and the rams stay on the tractor, the same as the 40, what you've seen on the 165. What we're looking for is a photo, or there's a parts diagram of this thing, and in there it shows you.
Talk amongst yourselves.
It's a little bit different to what we've got here. So I think this is quite a late loader with a later valve, but we've got an earlier book, so it doesn't match 100%, but it gives us an idea of what's happening. No, next page. There we go. Right, so this is. Hold it.
Oh,
you've just had the bag in the way.
Oh, sorry.
Right, so here is our valve. Okay, so you can see it's different. That's just a straight lever. We've got a handle on the end, but lift upwards is to operate your load of rams, your beam. Put it down, it says bucket. Now you can see there is like a surround with the writing on. We don't have that, so this could be a homemade bodge up, or it could be things changed in the lifetime of a machine. We don't know. But
no, if you go on the wall in the barn,
there's a plate.
You will find a plate what come with it.
Right, so what we're looking at is not quite what we thought it was. This is a plate. You can just about read it. I've cleaned it a little bit, but it says here, loader operation with mechanical trip. So it's not what we thought it was. It tells you, if you could read it, where to put your lever for operating it on a 135, because it talks about constant pumping, and we don't have that on a 35. So what I'll do, before we get this going, we'll get some polish on this, clean it up so you can read it. But yeah, we thought it related to the position of this lever, but it doesn't.
I still think there's another one of these with a lifting lower on it, but
yeah, well that is it. If you could read it, it says lift, because you put your position lever in constant pumping and you operate it on the draft lever.
That's
don't
right,
you? But you only go a little bit either way.
Yeah, if
you find your neutral spot in the middle and then
stay there.
an inch either way, just as up and down.
Yeah.
I think that's what that's telling you. But we'll clean all that up before we get going. But that won't apply on a 35. It'll be It's similar but different.
Yeah. No, a 35 you do. You pull your draft lever right up, and what's your two little levers called?
That's your draft.
That's the one you work on that.
Yeah.
Because you hold them level, he stays level.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, but
yeah.
you can put it says in the book, you put your position control lever in the response section, and that is how quick it will raise and lower, or lower.
Yes.
Yeah. Right, so there we go. That is a view of our new loader. So I think I said, if anybody knows of a fork and a bigger bucket, somehow get in touch with us. Stick a note in the comment if we can get hold of a fork. That would be useful. So this will disappear for the winter now. We'll get it out in the spring and cultivate it. Like I said, it is all here apart from a few pins and a couple of bolts. A few bolts. We'll probably replace all the bolts anyway, just to make them nice and easy. And then we'll get it bolted onto the tractor. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe for some future dung spreading action, and we'll see you next time.